An island full of bananas, a lovely mess for some bananas. Eat bananas, not the daily.
That might have been the most cringe stream I've had to experience from Honkai Star Rail in quite a long time. Henshin a go, baby. What's good, guys? Yoku here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about three major things. Number one, we're going over Rappa herself, or Rappa herself. She pronounced her name that way, and what she potentially brings to the table. After that, we're going over Acheron versus Rappa slash anyone else, to be fair, whether or not you should pull Acheron, Rappa, wait for Face Shao to come back next year, or anything of the sort. And then the last thing that we're going to be talking about is Erudition as a whole, because I have a lot of opinions on Erudition, and I've had these opinions for quite a long time. And after what, a year and a half going into the second year, really, version 3.0, I've only been proven correct about my fears for Erudition. With all of that out of the way, let's jump right into today's video. So starting things off, I genuinely hate how Star Rail has been doing their live stream reviews or previews lately, where they announce a character, we get drip fed a character, we're shown a character, and then we're shown barely anything about the character beyond a couple animations. Obviously, if we look at some of the things on the screen, for instance, when Rappa's using her ultimate, you can see that she has a counter at the bottom there, like 3, and then it goes down to 2 and then 1. Just by looking at it, I can tell, hey, she's using an enhanced basic attack. Boom, she's gonna lose that. She probably has 3 of these. Is there a way to give her more of these? We don't know. Is there some unique feature that she has? Why does she get those random stacks in the very bottom left corner of her name or her avatar, where it goes from like 3 to 4 or 4 to 6? Like, it's random numbers that jump up. I could speculate a bunch of different things. I could look these things up. I just wish that Star Rail would give us this information, because there's literally no point in hiding it. However, here's what I think. I've noticed that they do this the most when it comes to Erudition characters. Every single Erudition character that we've had come out, especially after 2.0, have all been just like, here's what they do, really teased, and then there's some type of lore definition behind why they're super strong. Rappa is a Galaxy Ranger, to my understanding. I could be wrong on that. You guys know that I haven't caught up with the story yet, but from what I heard Albert say, she's a Galaxy Ranger. And when he said that she's a Galaxy Ranger, one of the key things that he said is, oh, this is why Boot Hill says, man, she's so motherforking strong. And I'm like, yo, one, who says motherforking? I'm gonna start saying that now. Number two. Number two, if Boot Hill said she's strong, that means she's, you know, strong lore-wise. Canonically, Rappa's probably one of the strongest Galaxy Rangers, or one of the strongest characters in the Star Rail universe. In game, however, she unfortunately has the Erudition class, but we're gonna stick to what I said. We're gonna talk about Erudition towards the end of the video. Right now, we're talking about Rappa. What Star Rail does is they give us a little teaser of what these characters do without actually telling us what they do. And then what happens shortly after that, once the character is released, the character comes out, we get the CE server access for the character, and then they're bad. It's not even that they're like horrible, like dog shit, you know what I mean? It's just that they're not as good as the lore or canonical reasons behind why they're super strong come into play. The most recent character that I can think of that falls under the Erudition class would be Jade, who Jade is super niche, right? Jade is one of the characters that I love. Jade, personally, I think Jade is a really cool character. My Jade on my own account is not built, and the only time that I play Jade is either through Divergent Universe, or I play Jade on the CE server when I have access to do so. And so one of the recent teams that I showcased was Fei Xiao and Jade, E0 Jade at that, and it's really fun. One of the key things about Jade that a lot of people were saying was that E1 fixed Jade. It was a very particular statement that was being made, where E1, her ability through E1, basically corrected her kit and made her a complete character. I'm afraid that most Erudition characters are going to fall under this category, where E1 or some type of Eidolon essentially completes the character, or maybe the character is completed with their light cone, which I'm a little okay with the light cone, because it's a weapon sometimes, or most of the time, especially in Erudition's case. You can use these weapons on other Erudition characters to enhance them. Jing Yuan's light cone is a really good example of that, where Jing Yuan's light cone kind of boosts all Erudition characters, so to speak, or most of them. So you have a lot of scenarios where most people will pull the light cone of an Erudition character, Jade, instead of pulling the actual character. Once again, Jade. And so Rappa worries me. Rappa is a ninja. I'm a big fan of ninjas. Samurai and ninja are my favorite thing, right? Anything from the Edo Tensei period, I'm chilling on that. All right. I love a lot of stuff. You could weeb out if you wanted to, right? That's cool. I'm just into it. If you could see my room right now, which you can't, but if you could, it's Samurai Champloo over here. All right. And then I got Naruto over there, and then I got some Ninja Scroll. It's not over there, it's actually over here, but I got the Ninja Scroll. You guys don't need to know about that. If you know what Ninja Scroll is, pack it up, bro. You're beyond gooning. We cannot save you. Outside of that fact, I really like Rappa. I like Rappa's design. I'm gonna keep saying her name incorrectly a couple different times, but it is what it is. I like Rappa's design. She's cool. I'm not a fan of the rapping part, but I do like that she's kind of like a street ninja, right? It gives me the Kimberly from Street Fighter 6. It gives me those type of vibes. I'm really into that. Outside of the cultural appropriation aspects behind it, because I know Twitter is gonna go ham on that once they figure it out, or rather once they see it for themselves, we can just go over Rappa in her entirety. Having blast damage and full AoE damage is crazy good. If that damage is not on a scale of what we've seen, for instance, Firefly do, right? When Firefly gets the super break and you see her cracking for 700k, 100k, or 100,000. My bad, 700k or 1 million, whatever. Erudition characters have to make up for two different things. One, they don't have a fork ton of damage to hit somebody with, and two, they need to have so much damage, or they need to be so fast that they can hit a multitude of enemies with this incredible amount of damage. A lot of the other Erudition characters have, you know what? I guess we could just talk about the third part now, right? Erudition as a whole, because I'm kind of going over it. Erudition as a whole is bad. Unanimously, it's been bad across the board. Now I know, because I've had this argument tons of times before. Jing Yuan, all right, the King Yuan, if you will, our Lightning Lord. Lightning Lord is good. Jing Yuan is not good. His kit is designed as a very early test to Erudition characters, where in the event they would have had a little bit more cooking time with this character or thought ahead of time, I truly believe Jing Yuan would still be one of the stronger characters. In fact, one like the second strongest lightning character in the game without having to do a lot of extra work. Right now we have Acheron as the first lightning character, obviously, but in Jing Yuan's case, I think he would have been one of the strongest Erudition characters, and he really would have set the precedent for how strong this particular class could be. Lightning Lord cannot be advanced forward. If you get CC, Jing Yuan, Lightning Lord can't go. There's no real way to influence Lightning Lord outside of Jing Yuan. But of course, we have characters like Numby, rather Topaz, and then Topaz and Numby. But point being is that Numby can be influenced. Lingsha with her Fu Yuan can also be influenced. There's a couple different summons in the game, like for instance, things that happen with Simulated Universe. But point being is that we could influence these things. Erudition as a whole could do a lot more damage, or they could just be a lot faster. In the event they were faster, let's say they don't do 1 million damage, but they were able to do consistently somewhere between 500 to 600k across the board. So at least 3+ enemies and they're hitting, 500k, we'll average it out. If this character could go multiple times on their own without I need to make this very clear, without the strength of a Robin, without the strength of Bronya, or the influence of Sparkle, without these characters advancing them forward, if they could do these things on their own, like having advanced forward built into their own kit, or if they had, honestly, that's really it, or even an extra turn, right? Like if they just give themselves another turn by doing this particular action, and then they get that action very fast, that could work out. I feel like Rappa's in a situation where she has to be a very solid Erudition character, strong, if you will, or she's bad ass. If she's ass, I'm gonna be livid. The one ninja character that we have right now, and she's gonna be bad. I hope not, but I do think that the game is moving forward in a way where Erudition as a whole should now start, we could start looking at this as more like a sub DPS class, if you will, where they make up for what the hunt characters don't do. Now, there's a big problem with this, and the biggest problem is I'm obviously going to point towards Fei Xiao, right? Because Fei Xiao is the premier team right now. She's the golden standard, and that is currently the strongest team in the game. I don't care what nobody says. The numbers prove it. The calcs prove it. The results prove it. Putting her in your hands prove it. Everything proves it. That team is number 1 right now. And that team consists of 2 or more hunt characters, 2 or more single target characters, a buffer, and sometimes you don't even need a sustain, but now we have sustains that are just so good, it doesn't really matter, right? They're doing their own forms of damage or helping the team in their own way. Cough, cough, Aventurine, Lingsha, Ho-Oh doesn't do damage, but she buffs the team, so it doesn't matter, whatever. Anyway, point being is that it exists. Why is it that hunt class characters, these single target characters, are outperforming Erudition characters who are supposed to specialize in AoE or multi-hitting targets, but the hunt class is outclassing them in being able to clear the board significantly faster? That shouldn't happen. So my theory is the same that I've had from before, but now it's a little bit more grounded, if you will. Now I think I can test it out. I think Rappa or other Erudition characters should be paired up with a single target attacking character, a very strong one at that. And I think this is going to lean towards what we've seen lately with like Boot Hill. I think Boot Hill is one of the characters where like we always compare Boot Hill and Firefly, right? Where we say Firefly is the turn your brain off, click 2 buttons, and then you're done, right? She plays the game on auto, regardless of if you're playing the game or not. she's playing the game on auto. And then Boot Hill is like a physical Zila, if you will, where you have to know how to play the character. You need to know what the enemy does. You need to know the board, what your team does, how you can advance forward, action values. There's a lot of things that go into playing Boot Hill that are not as point and click as a Firefly team, right? So I think having a character like that, Hunt single target character, paired up with another character, in this case, Rappa. I'm saying that for a reason. I'm gonna prove it. You have to wait. I thought about it and I'm like, that's a good idea. And then I went back and I'm like, let me test that. But you guys have to wait for that to, be shown to you. Anyway, I feel like if we pair Hunt characters with strong Erudition characters or multifaceted Erudition characters, we will really start to see those two together shine. We have enough of sustain options right now to where the sustain is buffing up the team or multiple units on the team. We have enough of a Harmony or Nahili in the case of Jiao Shou. Basically, we have more options. We didn't have a lot of options before. Now we have more options to buff up teams. This also creates a new problem though, where you no longer have an option for advance forward. Obviously, I guess you could use Robin, right? Like Robin's kind of the premier. I'm gonna boost everybody and then advance them forward. But then you get into the problem. If Rappa is super break, none of this, excuse me, I burped. Wow. I guess I wasn't supposed to say that word. None of this stuff matters. If Rappa super break, Bronya doesn't matter outside of advancing forward. Sparkle doesn't matter outside of advancing forward. Robin is technically good for that, but then it's just Robin. And then you would obviously want to try Mei, but Mei doesn't bring you advance forward. Mei just kind of brings you a lot of other stuff. And then there's also the thing where like we've gotten to a point now where Mei is the premier Harmony unit for, or rather the second premier Harmony unit for Super Break. HMC is the #1 Harmony unit for Super Break. So now you're gonna look at like, okay, Rappa, HMC, Mei, and Lingsha. I actually think that's the team that they showed off in the stream. What if you just got rid of Lingsha on the team? What happens then? Could I add a single target character? Do I need an advanced forward character like Robin or Bronya or even Sparkle for that matter? She doesn't use skill points obviously, so I'm not going to keep saying Sparkle, but I'm just giving you guys ideas so that you can see what's happening here and like what's going on in my head. Anyway, it's in a bad situation. All right, it has to do or die right now. I think Rappa, which now leads us into our final topic, Acheron versus Rappa or anyone else. Like I said, Rappa is a very niche pick. She is a little closer to Jade, and I'm not entirely too sure if I could recommend pulling Rappa, especially if you're a newer player. Now, if you just like ninjas, awesome. You do have a kind of free-to-play account or free-to-play team with not Lingsha, HMC, and then Rappa, but you're also missing out on the fact that you might not have Mei. You don't need her, I'm assuming, but let's just say you do because super break and break efficiency. You might not need her. We'll have to wait and see what we get from the CE server. You also have the fact that Lingsha is currently on the banner, and if you're new, that means you would have to pull Lingsha now and then also pull Rappa, and you're kind of skipping out on Acheron, which we know is or was rather the strongest DPS in the game before Fei Xiao. And even then, it's not even that Fei Xiao is technically stronger than her. I think Fei Xiao just operates on a team better than Acheron. Fei Xiao is a much stronger team player compared to Acheron. That being the case, Fei Xiao is gone. I really don't expect us to get another Fei Xiao rerun for like until next year. And obviously that's very easy for me to say, right? Next year is only like 3 months away or something like that, or 2 months away, whatever. What I mean is I don't think Fei Xiao is going to get here until maybe March or April. And I'm not saying that like I'm confirming it. It's just my guesstimate, okay? Because we just got Fei Xiao. And then we're going to be in the 3.0 meta, which we're all speculating is going to be summon meta, but whatever. We're going into a whole new version. I don't think they're going to bring Fei Xiao as early. And if they do, they're probably going to do something similar to what they did with Acheron, where, hey, we're going to bring out this character, and then we're also going to introduce the new busted character. So now you have to make a new decision, Fei Xiao or the new busted character, right? New meta, new archetype, whatever. Who do you pick? And it just puts you in a really weird situation where there's not FOMO in Star Rail. They're doing a pretty good job of not necessarily replacing better or stronger or the strongest units. They're doing a pretty good job at giving us options that if we plan correctly, if we plan smartly, we can build into these options and we don't really miss what's happening, right? A lot of people were worried when Firefly came out, like, oh man, I don't have Firefly, I don't have Super Break, I can't play the game, I can't clear stuff, this is power creep. No, chill the fuck out, brother. You had like 4 different team options that you could build at that time that were all, relatively speaking, in a top 3, top 5 category. Whether or not you continue to do that is, your own choice, but whatever. long story short, Acheron or anyone else that is currently going to be on the board. Gonna go through a list and I'm gonna tell you Acheron. Acheron versus Rappa, pick Acheron. Acheron versus Dill Pickle. Dill Pickle, by the way, is in Biber de Lune. You pick Acheron. Acheron versus Jing Liu, which we already had, but whatever. You pick Acheron. Acheron versus Zila, you pick Acheron. Why? Because Zila takes work and a lot of you don't want to do that or invest time into playing that character to put her up to snuff with a lot of the other characters in the game. It's totally fine. I'm not throwing any shade, by the way. I'm just saying that's just how Zila is. Acheron versus Boot Hill. Same thing that I just said about Zila, but for Boot Hill, right? So you're going to pick Acheron. Regardless of how you spin it and who you're looking at, if you care about meta, if you care about having an account or something on your account that's going to significantly boost what you have going on, you pick Acheron because Acheron is coming in now. And we have a couple different Nihility light cones. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, the one with... it has Acheron, she's dancing or something like that. Her and Swan, I think, is the other Nihility light cone. It kind of works in her favor, so you don't have to pull her signature. I'm not saying don't pull her signature, right? Because Acheron with her signature is phenomenal. That sets you up for a millennia across the board, and then you build into your Nihility characters beyond that point. You don't necessarily need Silver Wolf, so you're fine with that. Pela is probably going to be free again. I have no idea if we're going to get another character event, but you can get a couple Pelas here and there. Gallagher is on the board, and so is Linksha, depending on what you decide to pull, but I know Gallagher is free, so on and so forth. There's just different options that you have. Now, in the case that you already had Firefly, right? So this is Acheron versus Firefly in this sense. If you already pulled Firefly and you skipped Acheron at that time, now is a great time for you to go ahead and pick up Acheron over Rappa because you have Firefly. The way that I'm looking at this is Rappa cannot come out as a regular Era Edition character. She has to come out and fulfill something. From what we saw in the gameplay, we didn't see a lot of crits because they take away the damage numbers and the text and all that kind of stuff. They're trying to be smart and sneaky about it, but we don't see damage. We don't see them already broken, so you can get some super break action out of that. And we don't see them doing anything like follow-ups, right? So we don't really know what Rappa does based off the special program. Based off my own estimation of how the game operates, she's not going to be a regular Era Edition character that focuses on crit like something like Jingyuan or Argenti, right? She's either going to follow follow-up attacks or she's going to follow break, some type of super break. We already have a bunch of follow-up attacks. We've already had our follow-up attack meta. All the characters came out for follow-up attacks. The last one to come out was like Linksha or something like that, right? As a sustain. Even then, she's not even fully follow-up. She's like a hybrid, which I love about her, but whatever. Point being is that face out, then boom, Linksha. No more follow-up, which means it has to be super break, crit, or summon. We don't see any summons. They would have said that in the stream. Ain't no summons there. It definitely ain't crit. I mean, it's weak. It's gonna be too weak, right? So it doesn't fall into anything. It'd be a regular edition. They're not gonna release that right now. It has to be super break or some form of break efficient character. Maybe she enhances a team. Maybe she's a hybrid character like Topaz. Who knows? Regardless, that's my entire video. I'm done. I know that was a long-winded thing. My bad. I really wanted to rant a little bit because some of these things that I've kind of kept up with Star Rail. Obviously, I've been away for like 2 weeks or whatever, something like that, whatever the fuck it was. I've been like enjoying life, playing games, like jacking off. I don't fucking know. Point being is that we are now in a position where some of the things you should care about in the game are very important. A lot of the things you shouldn't care about in the game are not as important, but they're being stressed right now on YouTube as some of the most important things in the world, and I promise you they're not. Power creep is not one of those things that you guys should be worried about. I just literally pick a team. Pick a team. Pick a fucking team. Don't pick Rappa though. If I'm getting Rappa because like I told you guys, ninjas and samurai, that's my jam. Okay, especially with the Oni horns, I'm all for that. All right, I love me some ninja. I'm picking Rappa, and I'm afforded that opportunity. One, as a content creator, and two, money. A lot of y'all don't have the situation or the opportunity to be able to do that. Again, no shade. I'm being very honest about this as nicely as I can, so that I can tell you guys, Rappa is nowhere near a must pull. She's not going to be some super crazy cracked out character that like, oh my god, you have to get Rappa. If you don't get Rappa, your account's bricked. If you don't have Rappa, you'll never have strong imaginary damage a day in your life. Like, no, Rappa has nothing to do with that. I can tell just by looking at this special live stream, because they didn't make anything special about her in her live stream. It was just so bare bones. They're clearly hiding something. And again, the only time they really hide shit is when the character is not strong and they're trying to make you pull or incentivize you to pull for the character, because they don't want you to be like, Rappa's weak. I saw the dreams and I know everything, and they nerfed her 4 times. Like, they don't want you to know any of this shit, right? So it's like, here you go, pull for Rappa because she's cool. And I really do think she's a cool character, but Whatever. Have fun. I am very disappointed in today's live stream. I can't say my usual outro because it's inappropriate for YouTube. Like the video, comment, subscribe, please. Fucking stop crucifying. Smell you later.